dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, episode 79, on remote. Studio WS, Chris. We are in Studio WS.
What does
Chris,
that
my
stand
co-host.
for? WS.
WillSpec. Nice. And we're going to meet some guys from WillSpec Garage here momentarily.
Awesome.
So this is exciting stuff.
Yes, it is.
This is cutting edge.
Edge.
This is Silicon Valley right here.
Bleeding edge.
Yes. And so in the studio right now, we have Will.
Yes, sir.
We've got Jeff. And
Okay.
we've got Jay. This is a small team of WillSpec.
Okay.
And they are building a vehicle to race King of the Hammers.
I'm so looking forward to
Which
hearing
we
about
love
this.
King of the Hammers, right?
Oh, fuck yeah, we do.
Yes.
I just dropped the F-bomb
There's
for
the
the first time in the
F-bomb, so
episode.
you guys are welcome to the first. So Will, Jeff, Jay, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Howdy.
One of you guys tell us what are you doing? What is going on? What are you racing at KOH 2021?
First of all, I'm not racing it. I'm just the janitor and the monkey in front of the camera. I'll just be straight up. Kyle is a blessing from the sky. Blessing from the sky.
Right on.
This is his brainchild.
Okay.
He came to us. Hey, I need some help. We just got commandeered David Cole's kid's race car.
Bailey Coles.
Bailey Cole.
Right on.
First gen 4Runner.
First gen 4Runner. And we had plans. Well, I guess we'll talk about that.
Sure.
Down the road. But I said, hey, let's do it. You've been wanting to do this from day one. Let's fucking do it.
So did this come about over a few brewskis one night, or how did this idea all come about? And we're still teasing this thing because we don't know what kind of race car this is. But how did it originate? I mean,
Well,
over
we know it's
Taco
a Toyota,
Tuesday
we know it's
or
a
what?
Toyota 4Runner.
So to be exact, about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, Kyle had the idea of doing electric. He always wanted to run King of the Hammers.
Okay.
I'm all for it. You know,
Okay.
I come from the import drag racing.
Okay.
So I know nothing about the off-road racing thing.
Sure.
I said, hey, fuck it, let's do it. So his idea, we had some ideas about, let's go build an Ultra4 vehicle or somewhat pseudo KOH vehicle just to mob around.
Okay.
But he wanted to take the next level. I'm all for it, right? In it to win it. I'm in it to win it.
Yeah.
So he goes, well, through a manufacturer, why don't we use that platform?
Okay.
Well, it takes money to do that.
Right.
So if we were to present that to that manufacturer, they're going to want to see something running.
Mm-hmm.
Something to the point where you guys done this before. I'll jump in and help you guys out with your power plant.
Gotcha.
So the power plant is it's not an internal combustion engine. So what's going on in today's world?
Yeah.
And guess what that is?
Electricity.
Electrified.
Electrified.
I drive a diesel truck, so I'm
So do I.
totally opposite.
So do I. Love diesel. Love diesel.
But that's Kyle's idea from the hit. He goes, no, I want to electrify it. All right, let's do it.
Cool.
So we crunched the numbers. It was going to be a lot of money. My thing was, let's go build something. So I'm not trying to go off into a rabbit hole, but the reality
we do
was
it all the time here on the podcast.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
my ADD kicking in.
Oh, boy.
So I was already hell-bent to build something legit. Like, let's build a gas Ultra4.
Okay.
Right? The budget's the budget, pay to play, right? You don't count parts.
No.
You just buy it.
No,
as
it's
you
the
need
experience.
It, right?
It's the experience.
So Kyle had his reservations on that. So I said, hey, for me to contribute, or WillSpec Garage to contribute this whole project, we would have to do that first, internal combustion or whatever
Okay.
it is, to present that to the manufacturer to be determined. And then from there, it was just kind of like, all right, we're just going to hang out, whatever. Year passes. Hey, David Cole hit me up.
Dave
Oh,
Cole
really?
from Ultra4 Racing.
Yeah, Ulta4 Racing. So
Right on.
Kyle could get more into that. Sorry.
Don't worry.
And now I really want him to talk about that because
Okay.
So from my perspective, he told me, "Will, I need a race car, and we're electrifying it." Cool, and it's going to be the first King of the Hammers EV class.
So that's it right there. I mean, it's the first electric vehicle to compete in King of the Hammers is your guys' goal.
Yep.
Boom.
How many cars are going to be in the class?
We don't know yet.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
So that was Jeff that just chimed in there.
Yeah, so you guys jump in, Jay and Jeff, just fill in the blanks here, and basically, I mean, this is living in the Bay Area here in Silicon Valley with all the money, and I mean, when these cars, the electric cars, started coming out, I mean, super popular. I mean, you look around on the freeway, and I'm sitting there in my big old diesel truck. And I like being in my diesel truck, but I'm looking at all these electric, cars around me and the fucking Priuses. But the other cars are badass. But anyways, the technology has gotten there where everyday people are commuting to work in these
it's
things.
the future. It's absolutely
it is
the future.
And then, it's just natural to try and marry this into KOH and let's race this mofo. I know the Rebel Rally just had an electric vehicle, a Rivian, compete in that.
I didn't know those were even real yet.
Yeah, so the Rivian was competed in there, but they had a truck following them with a big old diesel generator to charge the thing every night. So
Totally
serious?
green. Totally green.
yeah.
Still green, right? They should have
Yeah, you don't know this?
rolling up a windmill.
Where you been, man? You're too focused
I'm
on
in
this
Mars. I'm
project.
too
That's
focused.
good. That's good. But anyways, the Rebel Rally is great because all women, and we had some friends of ours,
couple years
and Jennifer
ago, yeah.
compete in this thing. Not this past year, but the year before, and it was super awesome to get involved with that culture. But anyways, back to the electric vehicle that you guys are working on. So it is a first gen 4Runner,
Yeah.
86, I think.
Is it 86?
86. I saw on the door jam.
I think it's
Yeah.
86, yeah.
But there's not much left of the original 86 there. You guys today just pulled the engine out, the 22RE?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so
motor is out.
This is day one of stripping this thing down, getting all the unnecessary parts out, and starting to implement the electric power plant.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much that's how it's going.
So what's the electric power plant going to be?
Yeah, so what is the power plant going to be? Anything
it's
we
a
recognize?
Slightly controversial.
Is it?
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
it has been known to work. There are other people doing it and making parts for it. We fought him tooth and nail in the beginning, but I recently have come on board with the idea, and the donor vehicle has been purchased. It is a running, driving, salvage title Nissan Leaf.
All right, a Leaf.
So the last thing you'll think of when you think of King of the Hammers.
Right.
However, with Kyle on the team, he has done everything in his power to make sure that he's up to speed.
Okay.
He's put in the sweat equity. He's done the math, and I now believe this is possible.
So
We're doing it.
So, because I mean, when you think about King of the Hammers, and Jason and I have attended King of the Hammers, and I know some of you have attended King of the Hammers. Horsepower is king, right? I mean, it's like you go when you're at the starting line, you hear the big V8s just tearing off, and it sounds awesome. It's a total testosterone trip.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also funny because this past year we had Amber Turner take off in her little Suzuki Samurai, and it was quite the contradiction in sound. so I mean, when this vehicle, this truck, this race truck takes off at King of the Hammers, and I expect you guys to be there. It's gonna be awesome. There's gonna be no sound. Are you going to set up speakers or something with a soundtrack of a 454 or
Jeff,
something?
that's you, buddy.
No, we weren't. Probably not. Only because doing that would just
Take away from
just the technology that was put into it. It is going to be as technically as green as we can be, but being in the middle of the desert, we're going to have some type of power source, being electricity. So
Right.
I don't think there's a whole grid that can power us. So it'll probably be like diesel generators or some type of generator out
Maybe we
there.
just follow with the chase truck, just blasting like "Welcome to the Jungle" or something.
That would be great. My question is, my burning question at this point is: it going to have a backup buzzer? Because all these electric cars have some kind of backup buzzer because they're so quiet. When you're recorrecting anything. No.
Well, if you're in the way, man, it is. See, you're fucked.
We'll just yell really loudly.
You're fucked.
Like, get out of the way! We're backing up.
So, because that's also funny because I think the Audi e-tron has like wasn't it? I read something about they had an audio track of a V8 engine they engineered to make noise because people they bought these
crosswalks and
exotic
stuff.
cars.
Yep.
No, just driving around.
Oh, just driving around.
Blah, 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 blah.
No, if you've ever been in an electric vehicle, and you're not used to it, if it's your first time, it's very unsettling to not have a shift point. Like you've become accustomed to it. There's no lag at all. It's you go.
I've driven a couple of the higher end sports models.
It's a good
of these
time.
electric cars, and obviously you cannot dispute the immediate torque right off the line.
Yeah,
and that's where you guys got the advantage right there.
Well, rock crawling. That's kind of the holy grail, right? Torque. So
all of it.
All the torques.
I was going to ask. So earlier when I interrupted, but it's like we talk about horsepower. You talk about the Shannons, the Campbells, and all the Levi Shirley, and they all have 500-600 horsepower at the
8 to 1,000 horsepower.
Well, at the flywheel, but I mean, what is the horsepower of a Leaf electric motor?
Well, consider this. What is the horsepower of the proven motor we just took out of there?
22RE that
We
you
just
pulled
ripped the
out.
22RE
So it's like
out.
33 horsepower, right?
88 horsepower downhill, maybe.
Yeah.
It's ancient.
I think the numbers are pretty similar with the Nissan Leaf's motor and the 22RE, but
Really?
So I believe the torque curve is a little higher on
I was
the Nissan
going to say
Leaf.
it's got to be higher,
Yeah,
right,
yes.
on the torque
But
side.
I
And
think
it's all of it right away.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yes.
rev it out.
Yeah, you don't have to hit the rev limiter to get
I
your max
think-
torques.
I think it revs out to like 8, but off the record it's supposed to do 10.
Really?
That's why I want a backup motor. Again, my background is you got to have backup after backup after backup. So apparently these motors are robust.
Okay.
So we're not going to worry about that, but we'll see.
So what you're doing, you're going to have one motor. So you're basically replacing the 22RE that was in there and putting in the electric motor, marrying that up to the transmission, transfer case, and the rest of the drivetrain from there.
Yeah, we don't plan on taking any of what's in there out.
Okay.
So the
So you're
transfer
gonna-
cases
you're
and
gonna
the
run it into
transmission
a
are going to be
tranny.
there. And that way, if the motor falls short, we still have gears.
Correct.
Keep in mind, we have a deadline, guys. We have
I know.
a deadline.
Yeah,
of,
you can't be re-engineering this
Right,
thing from
exactly.
ground up.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some as the Leaf controller brain's going to work. How is this going to go?
Kyle purchased an aftermarket controller, and then it should go well with the known Leaf whole system, so that way we shouldn't run into any issues in that regard.
Okay.
But granted, this is still kind of all of our first time doing something like this, so
I'm intrigued. I'm seriously intrigued.
absolutely.
Because the electric cars that are available today, I don't think there are transmissions in them, right? They're direct drives.
direct drive for a lot of them.
So Tesla, everyone knows what a Tesla is, right? So those are underdriven. So there is a transmission, but it's geared.
It's like a gear reduction. Right?
Okay.
Totally gear reduction. You can't go one. They don't have a 1-to-1 ratio.
Okay.
But
on
it's
Teslas,
there's not
I
multiple ratios
No.
because I mean the logistics when you mentioned you're going to continue to keep the transmission in the race
Yeah.
truck, it's probably a 5-speed transmission. So you're going to be revving an electric engine and shifting gears.
That's a Kyle question.
Okay.
He did all the math. I commend him on that. I geek out on this type of stuff, but not like Kyle. Not like Kyle.
Kyle's in his own little bubble.
Yeah,
right now.
Kyle,
This is
Kyle
his
definitely
brainchild.
did the research.
So he's the mechanical guy. It sounds like on this project, and
He's
you got an electrical guy, right? The high voltage guy.
Yeah, Charlie.
Okay.
He's the high voltage. He has a lot of experience on that.
Because there's definitely, that whole aspect of it. Jeff, what's your role? You sound like you're pretty knowledgeable on the control system here and how that all ties in.
I'm more of like the guy that will tell you the proper way to do things when everyone just goes down the loophole.
He's one of the most valuable people on the team.
That will work, but here's how we should do it, guys. Okay, so
he's the party pooper.
He's your safety officer. Okay, good. I like that. Keep things on the professional tip.
Yeah, we definitely go down the rabbit hole here. Just like there's 1,000 ways to bend a pipe, but if you don't need to bend the pipe, then I'm the guy that tells you, hey, there's a hole over here we can totally use instead of bending everything around.
Right. Okay, that's good.
When we go to King of the Hammers, I usually drive Jesse. I really can't talk about that. Anyway, so Jeff is my co-pilot. I have just no peripherals going out bombing through JV.
Okay.
Johnson Valley.
Right.
I just look straight. He's all left, right, ATV, UTV, dirt bike, wall. That's when I apply the brakes.
Yeah. The
So
end of the
back
road
door,
happens.
you don't want to crash in the back door.
Well, we try to go to the desert bar as fast as possible because
There you go.
we got to get
It's a race, man.
not a rally.
No, it's not. So, who's going to be driver and co-driver of this rig?
That would be Kyle Segland. He's a member.
So Kyle's going to be the driver.
Kyle's driving. Then he's going to have his sister. be the
Really?
co-pilot. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
dope.
So does he has racing experience at KOH or Johnson Valley or
He used to work for David Cole.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's got some ties with
I may have missed that.
Dave. You
Yes.
know,
So he's-
Ultra 4.
No
Mr.
more
Ultra 4.
No more alcohol for Chris.
Oh, there you go. So that's going to be awesome. So I love the female component in there.
That's awesome.
We're huge advocates of women wheelers, and
Hell
you know,
yeah.
we featured a lot. Amber, obviously, that raced last year, and she's become good friends with us. Wheeled with her at Trail Hero. That
Absolutely.
was just, and she wheels the shit out
Sierra
of Suzuki Samurai. Yeah, and up at Trek and stuff. And then
Did she break?
Did she break?
Did she break?
Well,
is a rollover a break?
there was no.
Shit.
She just timed out basically.
Oh, you're talking
at
about
Hammers.
yeah,
Oh, no,
she
okay,
timed out
okay.
at Hammers, but no.
She had.
You mean a Trail Hero?
A Trail Hero, yeah.
Well, yeah, she rolled over a few times, and
And she got back on her fours,
And she
right?
did.
Absolutely.
you know, I've said it before on the podcast. It's just women. And it was funny because this last interview I did with Glenn and Kimberly Plake, and Glenn brought it up perfectly and said, you know, these women, they listen, they paying attention to what's going on, but they don't know the mechanical aspect of like all the binding that's going on the drivetrain, or that, you know, did I tighten that bolt enough or whatever, right? They're not thinking it mechanically.
Just
like,
gonna send
like,
it.
Like most of us
Send
are
it.
behind the seat going, oh my God, I am so undercut right now, and this shaft is going to break any second. I'm going to blow a U-joint, whatever. But they don't, you know, I don't want to say ignorance is bliss because they're not ignorant, but they just are not thinking about that stuff. They're thinking about, where do I need my tires? How much gas do I need to apply? Brake, everything to get through this obstacle. And I wish I could be like that because I'm thinking all this other stuff that could go wrong.
As we all
It's a
are.
blessing and a curse, really.
It is a blessing and a curse. It is a blessing and a curse. So I am pleased to hear that there's a female right seat in this rig. I mean, this story gets better and better.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's more to it. When Kyle gets in here,
Okay,
He's
so
right.
we are going to get Kyle on the podcast.
Absolutely,
yes.
Okay, cool.
yeah.
So Jay, you've been quiet over there. So what's your role in this whole thing?
I'm usually the quiet guy.
I'm usually the quiet guy.
Well, you need to speak up.
I'll
our
put in work
CBO.
when work needs to be done, but I'm mainly a behind the scenes guy.
Okay.
If you check out our Instagram at WillSpec Garage,
Okay.
I'm handling that. I'm making the posts. I'm figuring out all the clever captions. and
Okay.
Just trying
The
to get
hashtags?
us, trying to make us presentable to the world because when you come over and you hang out at the garage, we might look a little different.
Hey, to his credit, when he jumped on board, we doubled our followers.
See, there you
Nice.
go. Nice.
Hey, when I rolled up to the garage this afternoon, man, I was just like, "Hey, Chris, man, come on in." It was super welcoming. You guys threw a beer at me. I caught it, thank God. 'Cause it was smashed.
I didn't crack you over the head.
No, it didn't crack me. The
crack-
second one caught me on the head, but that's cool. No, you guys are awesome. it's you got the whole setup going on. It's killer, man. I'm thrilled to see what you guys are going to produce for
That's
this
my
race.
favorite thing about all this, man. We're just a group of friends, and we happen to build cool shit.
Well, and
There it is.
That's it. It's grassroots, and that's what I love about this is that you're in a garage at a house. You're
now.
not in this multi-million-dollar shop with all these sponsors throwing parts at you and stuff.
Multi-million pesos.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. But it's cool, and that's what King of the Hammers is all about. I mean, yes, it has grown and to be super competitive in the Ultra4 class. Big money and big sponsors, but the little guys, all the other 99% of the people that are at the Hammers that are spectators, they look at something what you guys are doing and go, I've got a welder, I've got a grinder, I could start putting some car together too, and
gotta
that's
know a little
what's
bit of
super
math.
cool. Yeah, and a little bit of math, whatever. But that's the cool thing about the Everyman Challenge and Every Woman Challenge. I got to say, because Amber in that class and other women that aspire to be in that class, it is super freaking cool to see you guys out here because it's passion drive. And sitting there around a table one night, eating tacos, whatever, drinking some Coronas, and going, you know what, we could do this, and yes, you can. Anybody can do it. It's
Absolutely.
So they put their credit card up on the dash.
Yeah, and then in the words of
what it feels-
Arturo Soria.
That's what it feels like.
Arturo Soria was one of our earliest interviews, and it's so great. They're so cool and humble, and he's racing, this badass car.
That's right.
What has he got?
He's got he got one of the spec cars.
Oh, that's right, the spec
from
car.
Dave Cole.
4898.
So there was
Nice.
I don't know how many of these cars built. I want to just say 7 for
it's
the
like-
sake of
I think
argument
it was
or whatever.
12 or 13.
But they were spec cars. It was like NASCAR. All these cars were built the same.
Identical.
And he got one of these cars.
Mopar power, baby.
Yeah, and
No
he
way.
races the hell out of this thing. And he is so cool, down to earth, and one of our fun interviews in the past. And we follow him, and I mean, the whole family's involved, obviously,
It's
like
awesome.
all
Hell
this
yeah.
stuff, right?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Everybody that races at the Hammers has this same similar story, of all their friends and family support, because that's what it takes to make happen, and fielding your pits and everything out there and all this stuff, and just everybody crossing their fingers that you're going to make it to the next pit,
and if the credit card falls through the cracks,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that's what Arturo says. He goes, man, I just throw the credit card up on the dash and just send it, and that's what he does. So, anyways,
But this is bleeding edge, as we said earlier. I mean, you guys are really opening up a whole new category? here?
That's another
another class of and this is what has to happen, and we're really excited to see how this is going to evolve. Is it going to be a class of one for 2021? Is somebody else going to get word and they're going to throw a car?
Yeah, how
out
many
there?
are going to be out there in 2022?
Right.
After seeing you guys compete and go, hey, well, we could throw an electric motor in this XYZ car or whatever. So, question that I know a lot of our listeners want to know, and that I want to know, is obviously battery power. So,
Right.
Yeah.
And this has been talked about extensively with you guys, I assume.
It's a
because, you run out of gas in the desert in a car, you dump some fuel in and go, but...
No, they're using an extension cord.
Oh, is that what it is? A really, really long
Diesel power,
extension
man.
cord.
Diesel power.
They got a little Honda 2,000-watt generator on the back of the...
Hey, we got one right
in the
here.
bed. Yeah. Okay.
Now, how's that going to work?
So how is that going to work? And what I know, there's been in battery changeouts. Obviously, I don't know. Talk to me.
So we're not going to keep any secrets, all right?
Okay.
This is nothing proprietary because we do want the regular Joe to do this.
Okay.
This is what
Cool.
Me and Jeff's brainchild, starting WillSpec Garage. So I hope this kind of segues into that. It's going to be a change. We're going to be changing batteries out.
Yeah.
So strategically, Kyle is going to spearhead that because he knows the course. He will determine we're going to have different kilowatt batteries. How we're going to configure that is the one way
Right.
is going to be the 24 kilowatts going to be sitting on the bottom of the pack, and then we're going to have either a 40 or a 62. Don't quote me on those numbers, but it's going to be heavy. It's going to be the big boy. So if we run out of power, 10 valves out, we could swap.
Okay.
And then all we got to do is just unplug and plug into the 24 kilowatt.
It would be
So
in the
they're gonna-
rig already.
Yeah, that would be nice. We have to calculate the extra weight, but there are different trim levels of the Nissan Leaf. The Nissan Leaf that is the donor vehicle is the lesser trim.
Okay.
So
24
that is
kilowatt.
a 24 kilowatt battery. And obviously, bigger is better.
Right.
And equates to more range. So if we had more than one battery, rather than swapping them out, which would take time and logistics and everything
Right.
like that,
Right.
and also risk, if they're already there, we can just unplug one and plug in the next, and hopefully the aftermarket computer that we got can
Okay,
all that.
so that's cool. So, kind of walk me through, if you will, at a pit stop. You know, where normally people are dumping these 11-gallon gas cans into the rigs and just in 4
Right.
seconds, 11 gallons of gas goes into the rig, or 10, whatever it is. So, you got to swap a battery pack. How does that happen?
Essentially, it's just going to be unplugging and plugging in because it's going to be there.
Oh, so it's already there.
not physically
So you're not
removing.
physically
So you're-
like have an A-frame over that you're
No,
going to
that's
drive
just added
under
risk.
to
So you're
hoist out
carrying,
the
you're
batteries
carrying
and
all
go.
this weight the whole time.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Well, and how much weight are we talking about?
$650 a piece.
Whoa.
650 pounds
Each battery pack.
each battery pack.
Keeping in mind, we did remove a 22RE from the weight of the vehicle.
Which weighs
Which
how
weighs-
much?
I
It's
think-
a 2.4 push rod. It's not necessarily a Leaf.
I think
no
Tyler
pun
and Jimmy
intended.
from Snail
Right.
Trail pick him up with one arm.
Right.
What kind of roids they on?
Oh, man. Megaroids.
Okay, so no battery change out per se. It's unplugging one and plugging into another.
The 24
is
is
an
gonna-
idea.
It's an idea. Okay.
Then the
and
other
this-
the other idea is, I don't quote me on this. The 24 pack looks like it's gonna stay where it's at.
Okay.
And then we're gonna have two other batteries.
Okay.
So that it fits a 62 or a 40. So we're kind of working those numbers out.
Or you could have like a trailer with batteries behind you that
That's
you could.
what's gonna go in.
But then,
Well-
but then you have to calculate where you stop to do that.
Well, that's
So
the problem.
If you're in the
That's-
middle of
chase
nowhere,
trucks.
you're not getting a trailer.
Well,
out
and this is
there.
a no chase race, right?
Right.
So,
No chase.
so you know, you got the co-pilot, you got the pilot that can go run to a pit, and we've seen it hundreds of times at King of the Hammers, running to go get a part. Or other racers can bring you a part, which has been, and that's the great camaraderie of this community.
Absolutely.
It's one of the best parts, easily.
Oh, it's so
Easily.
freaking cool, and that's. I mean, I love racing, and then I fell in love with Ultra4 Racing, and then I saw the camaraderie, and then it's like, no, this is
Done
freaking
deal.
badass.
Everybody wants everyone else to race.
Exactly. It's like they want to beat you fair and square, not because you had some stupid 10-cent part go out on you, you know? And they're like, you know, pits are talking to each other. Hey, can you run this part out to, you know, Cougar Boots? That's where our team is, or whatever it is, right?
Right.
Chocolate
Yes.
Thunder, whatever. And that's super cool. But, you know, nobody's going to be able to run a battery pack out to you guys.
No.
And that's like this
The hell are you
biggest
talking about? Yeah.
Fagizzy thing that's
Hey,
happening here.
Hey, Shannon, can you run this battery
Yeah,
pack out?
just strap it to the back.
Throw it on there.
There are some co-drivers. Jason Berger of Shearer, he'll freaking motor that stuff. He's CrossFit champion.
Hell yeah.
When you think about it,
Damn.
there's only so many options we have. We can
Right.
either charge the battery we've got and
Yeah.
take that time. We can swap the battery, or we can carry more than one battery and just unplug and
Right.
plug in.
Right.
There's
So
very
how long?
little
I mean,
else.
charging the battery is like that's not even.
That's not an
to
option.
100% is out of the question.
It's yeah.
From 20 to 80 is super fast, relatively.
Oh, really? A
yes.
percentage of charge?
Yes.
Oh, really?
That last 20% is the major hit that you take.
So if
we'll
you-
never get a 100% charged
So,
battery.
but
out
you'd
there.
be dragging a giant ass generator out to like pit, you know, remote pit 1 and remote pit 2 or whatever. I mean, it's
That would be a Kyle question.
That would be one
we
of the
do
options,
have.
yes.
I don't know if Jeff could chime in, but the way. And here's the other idea. So the first idea is we're gonna have the 24, and then either
The
the
60
40
on
or
top.
62 on top. I think that's going to be a green light. But we're gonna have a battery ready in Jesse. Jesse's my 2014.
just as a
Okay.
spare.
Ram.
okay.
So we're gonna have a battery on site
Ram
ready
trucks,
to go.
baby.
Yeah.
Mopar.
Oh, there you go. You got.
Cummins, baby, Cummins.
Oh boy.
So
Well,
if you ain't coming,
Which
you ain't
transmission
stroking.
are you on again?
yeah.
I have a
How
tw-
many
I have a 20
transmissions have you had?
I have a 2012. I have the same transmission.
No,
dude.
not you.
Well,
68 RFE.
Will's had a couple.
68 RC.
Ford.
Needless to say, he
Ford
really likes
sponsor,
hammers.
proud sponsor of Ultra4. Just saying, Ford, no Dodge involved in that shit. Just saying, boys.
I'm just saying,
Whatever.
Can-Am was a
All
sponsor
right, I'm
too.
turning Jason's microphone down. Jason's cut off.
There goes
I
my
will keep on saying
microphone.
Cummins.
We're all friends here. We're all friends here.
It's all good. It's all good.
Friendly arguments.
As long as you're there. As long as you're there. So,
So that was just one idea.
Okay.
That's about swapping the packs.
Okay.
And then the third idea, Kyle. Kyle has some ideas. Kyle is the younger version of me. So
That's scary.
We're about like 18 years apart. I'm guessing 19.
yeah, he's quite a
17?
bit younger. I didn't
Just
know.
a number.
You and I are
It's just-
closer in age. I
Yeah.
didn't realize.
So
So-
you're what, 35, and he's what,
Yeah.
12?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
44.
God,
So
I forget what 44 is like.
Yeah, Chris is over 50. He's the elder.
it's all right, man.
We
It's
bow
all right.
down to him.
So Old Elk isn't just a.
It isn't.
It isn't just a catchy name.
It should be called Chris Elk.
Perfect.
Oh, that's messed up, man. So
I love you, Chris. I'm sorry.
Oh, it hurts. It's like a knife just ripped through my heart.
So Kyle,
We're gonna get Kyle in here.
Okay.
So
Kyle's coming in.
So where I'm
Ooh.
going with this? Should we pause?
No, keep going.
We're
Keep
good.
going.
We're good.
So where I'm going with this? So Kyle, and I kind of want to give a little background.
Yes,
Sure, go ahead.
please.
We work at the same place.
Yeah.
And
Co-workers.
that was 2 years ago.
Okay.
He worked on a different shift, and as soon as the word came out from Jeff saying that, hey, there's a new guy who joined up. He used to work for King of the Hammers. Automatically, we became friends.
Okay.
And I haven't even met this motherfucker yet.
Well, and then here he is.
Enter stage left.
Perfect cue.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Hey,
Kyle.
everybody.
Boston Kyle.
you got
Boston
a problem.
Kyle.
Your beer's,
Boston
your beer's
Kyle.
not actually open.
No, that's a problem.
Find a wrench or something.
I know. We got so Kyle came on board,
Yeah.
Just use that.
and he was your
He was on a different shift.
okay,
He's a robotics technician
okay,
and used to work for King of the Hammers. So automatically we became friends.
okay.
Perfect.
And I didn't even meet this motherfucker yet. I just heard.
Yeah.
So word spreads fast.
Cool.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah. So I was like, who's this motherfucker?
He's got a
Because
beard,
he's
too.
been talking you up for the last half an hour, Kyle. He's been talking you up.
Yeah.
So
How can I possibly
me,
live
so
up
you
to
better
that?
deliver now.
Hey,
Yeah, just
geez,
saying.
Great.
because he did all the math. So him joining up, word spread fast. King of the Hammers, automatically we're friends. We went to our first King of the Hammers in
Just last year.
just last year.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah, 2019. Boy, was it a blast! Boy,
Really?
was it a blast!
So that's your first time. You're all of you first
So
time.
2
together,
years
together.
So yeah,
Together.
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 No, I know you've been
Kyle
there.
can't Hammers before. But.
Oh yeah, he used
But
to work
you-
for David Cole.
Right.
Yeah. So to give a little background, so Kyle used to work for King of the Hammers. He could talk more about what
Yeah.
he did,
Yeah, we'll get into that.
but before he worked at his current occupation, we became friends. So he knew that Jeff and I are going to start WillSpec Garage.
Okay.
So me and Jeff said, okay, cool. Let's start building the team. Blah blah blah. What do you know?
Right.
This whole time I said, hey, I want Kyle to be part of the team. Couldn't make the commitment. I get it. He worked on night shift. We're on day shift. I get it. Right.
Right.
So finally, let's fast forward. He moved to day shift.
Cheers,
Cheers.
boys.
Cheers.
Kyle.
Here we go.
Kyle's
Kyle's in the house.
Pour a whiskey. I'm going to drink some, you know.
So after 2 years, he switched shifts, moved to a
likes
different
it.
moved.
Who doesn't?
That's good.
I just love to see really good whiskey. Sorry to interrupt. I love to see people's reaction
I
with
don't know
all
if I've ever
that.
had that before. That's tasty.
That's
as hell.
damn good stuff
Damn
right
good.
there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, sorry to
No,
interrupt.
it's all good. It's all good. So
Because it was bourbon. It was totally acceptable. Really
Had to happen.
fine
Had to happen.
and whiskey.
that's right.
Which is
What do
which
you
is
say?
a version
Live
of
it,
bourbon.
race it,
Live it, love it.
and
Race it.
Boom.
So we got this brainchild. So
Yes.
Jeff and I started WillSpec Garage. I didn't even want it to be WillSpec Garage, but he had some ideas, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So
I don't even know if I can repeat
How am I
that.
just hearing about
What was
this?
that?
I don't know.
Disky Wicks?
yeah, that's another story.
I don't even know where to go
Well,
with
that's
that.
Yeah.
dyslexia right there, and I think like Mike from Mike and Max just understood that.
They probably did.
Yeah. So anyway,
Everybody's Googling Pig Latin translators.
Yeah.
wow.
You were getting sidetracked left and right.
Rabbit hole.
On it, Will.
You mess
Stay
with my
focused,
ADD.
Will.
You mess with my
Boom,
ADD.
boom,
Stay
boom.
focused.
All right. So hey,
So 2 years later, 2 years later, change shifts. So that's where the floodgates occurred.
Okay.
That's when that was the turning point. Turning point as far as like, hey, I'm coming around now. Cool. I want you to be my other face.
there
He's
you
a
go.
good-looking dude, green eyes.
Well, let's talk
Thanks,
about this.
bud.
So Kyle,
a little
welcome
background on-
Kyle
yeah,
to the podcast.
absolutely.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to Old Elk. That was your first taste of Old Elk.
Hell yeah, that was really
What-
good.
Yeah, isn't that good?
Hell yeah,
Very
yeah.
smooth.
You're gonna be going to a liquor store looking for that now.
It's very unapologetic.
Yeah, no, that's smooth. It's good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Okay, so Will's been building you up all night.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, you're the brainchild of this whole thing, and if this thing succeeds or fails, it's all on you. So,
Great.
so
We got your back, homie.
So talk about your background, Kyle, and how you were involved with Ultra4, whatever. How far back do you want to go? When you were born? I don't know.
Right? Yeah, it was 5:48 p.m. Brockton, Massachusetts.
There you go.
Oh my God, you're a masshole.
You got it.
Oh boy.
I grew up in Connecticut.
Oh, sorry to hear that. 98 exits of hell. That's what we call it. Because you got to drive all the way through the goddamn. It's always full of traffic. Nobody knows how to friggin' use a blinker or anything. Bullshit.
you guys want to wrestle or something?
Yeah, I know.
Let's go-
You
let's
guys
get
need to
fucked
hug it
up.
out. What's going on?
No.
just
First, we'll get to the
fist bump.
pitchforks. We'll get to hugging after that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I want to see
right
some
on.
fighting.
So Ultra 4, Dave Cole. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So let me see. I don't know. Did some college, and then that didn't really work out. So I got a job, and I was doing night shift security. And I was watching videos of dudes jumping dirt bikes in the hills in Southern California, and it looked really fun. And I turned
perfect.
24, and I was like, man, I really want to go ride dirt bikes there. That looks really, really cool. And van life was a thing, you know.
Oh, van life, yeah.
Oh,
So that's what I did. I got a Toyota camper.
Okay.
And I cut the back off of it, made a toy hauler out of it, and I hit the road, drove to Southern California to go ride dirt bikes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I sold my truck, got rid of everything, sold my guitar, sold everything that I didn't need, packed everything I owned into a van, and fucking went for it.
At 24.
Yeah, and then my buddy,
That's awesome.
my
Such an
cousin,
elegant origin story.
I love it. I love it.
This guy's my spirit animal.
Yeah, I was
Everybody
gonna say,
starts somehow.
total spirit animal.
anybody
right
can
here.
do it. Just,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
for it.
just do
right?
it.
Right. So I was going to go ride dirt bikes, and my cousin, he worked for one of the guys that his work was Lucas Murphy, who races King of the Hammers, or he's raced. He's not an OG, but he's pretty close. He used to race. He didn't race the last couple of years, but he probably will going forward. But anyways, so I knew about King of the Hammers. I knew that Lucas Murphy was going to be racing that year. When I was starting to get into Cali, was a couple of weeks before the race.
Okay.
Wow.
And I knew he'd be there, and I hit him up before, and I was like, hey, if I'm there, can I help you out? Whatever, you know, I don't know much about race cars, but I can turn around.
Sure.
And he was like, yeah, I'll see you there. So I was like, well, I'll volunteer at King of the Hammers. So I rolled up, and I didn't know, I was lost in the desert. I didn't know where it was or whatever.
Boone
where
Road.
town was.
Boone Road.
Yeah, well, I didn't know about Boone Road. I just knew Johnson Valley, and it's a really big place. I didn't know that you're supposed to go down
Fucking Boone Road, dude.
I pulled way past Boone Road, and I was almost to Lucerne when I was
Oh,
like,
shit.
Boy.
So I pulled off, and I just got on my I parked the camper, and I got on my dirt bike and just started riding around the desert. I found it, but I figured it was the middle of the day, and I figured, well, if I ride up right now, they might say, hey, come back next week, kid, we're closed, you know? it's not open yet. So I was like, so I got back in the camper, I went back to town, I got all my laundry done, I got firewood, I got food, beer, I got everything I need for a whole week. figured I'd go back at night because they're probably going to have a fire and beer at night.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I'll
Hell
roll
yeah.
up at night to the fire and say hi, and even if they're closed, I can at least hang out for the night. They're not going to kick me out in the middle of the night. So that's So I rode up to Hammertown. The gates were open. There wasn't like the
Like
event.
today.
Yeah, it was 2
What
weeks
year was
before.
this?
17.
17, okay.
And I rolled up and came around the corner, saw the smoke, and lo and behold, there's probably like 20 people having a fire. And I rolled up my camper, and somebody rolls up, everyone's like looking.
Yeah,
at you,
like, who's this?
Shut shit off, get out, walk up, and I'm like, "Hi, is this King of the Hammers?" And they were like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I was like, "I was just wanting to volunteer. I was wondering if I could hang out." And they were like, "Yeah, man. Hey, what's your name, dude?" I'm like, "My name's Kyle. What's your name?" He's like, "My name's Texas Jesus." It's the first person I met in California besides a gas station.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Right on, Texas Jesus. And so that was like kind of the
That's
start.
awesome.
I volunteered. Actually, I was out there for 40 days. I never even saw Lucas Murphy.
Really?
I was just busy with
40
Ultra4.
days?
Yeah, or close to it. That one was a little bit less, but they put me to work.
38 days.
Yeah. Put me to work, building the whole event.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
anything you can think of, whether it's if you can think of it,
Yeah.
I did some of it.
Right on.
They definitely. I think one of my first days they had me course marking and razors, and I was like, all right, so now I'm hooked. So then the rest of it was like moving porta potties.
Right.
So it's
Right.
The non-glamorous part.
Yeah. And they fed me, so I mean,
Hey,
shit, you're
perfect.
gonna feed me breakfast and feed me dinner.
Hell yeah.
you got me. So,
Right on.
it was really good, and everybody there was really awesome people. Can't say enough about the
It's
folks,
the culture.
folks behind the scene. Awesome cats. So,
Perfect. So how did you get involved behind the wheel?
oh man, what
For Eve?
for this thing?
No. Were you racing before?
No. The only thing I was ever raced before was Demolition Derby because that's all I could afford.
God damn.
yeah. And
Demo Derby's cool, man.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
awesome.
watching cars crash into each other. That's killer.
Yeah, it's a great time. It's even more fun behind the wheel. It's freaking exciting. Like your whole life, you're not supposed to crash into stuff with your car, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of
That's the
animals.
only
That's exactly
objective.
what you're doing.
I
It
went-
was a pretty good time.
I went to a demolition derby up at I think it was Sonoma County Fairgrounds back, I don't know, 25 years ago, 35 years ago.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
pretty
pretty old.
exciting. It's super
I was
like
9 years old.
it's super exciting to crash into people.
Oh, hell yeah.
purpose.
Well, I know
It's
about it.
exhilarating.
It's not that exciting, actually.
I guess when it's on
it's a whole other
purpose,
story.
Huh?
On accident, it's a whole other story.
Yeah.
No,
that's
an
fair,
accident's
that's
a whole
fair,
other
that's
story.
not-
But
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'd
When
like
you're
to do
caged
demo
up with a
derby.
helmet, I'd imagine
Yeah.
it could be pretty fun.
It'd be pretty
Right.
fun for sure, no doubt.
So you get introduced, basically fully immersed into KOH.
Yeah.
And then somehow you started working at the same place of business as
Yeah,
Will,
well,
and then
there's
you
a
guys
little
met?
There's a little bit more. So basically, after Hammers, Dave was like, "Hey, what are you doing now?" And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go park my Toyota at a RV park that's near Beaumont, California, where they ride freestyle."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, you can park at my house, man. Like, I'm in Temecula.
Yeah.
Temecula is the freestyle motocross capital of the world.
Sure,
Right.
Absolutely.
So I was like, yeah, and he's like, and then so that's what I did. And then there was Texas Jesus was living there.
Yeah, you living
And
at
then,
the house. Yeah.
yeah. So I was in the camper, and then he was in the condemned shop that's got
Yeah.
an apartment on the side of it.
Right.
So he actually had the closer commute to work because he could roll out of bed and fall into the shop. My commute was like 30
be
steps.
nice.
Yeah, my commute was 30 steps. So,
Nice.
so we lived there, and then Derek showed up just a couple months later. Derek's a fellow from Oregon who worked for Bomber Fab, worked for Randy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Came-
Randy
they came-
Slauson, right?
Yeah,
right.
and then came through Ultra4 with the China program. And then for a while, he was in his trailer, I was in mine, and Jesus was in the shop, and we were like the Three Musketeers, sort of.
So
Doing
it's
badass
funny that
stuff.
you mentioned that because we interviewed Bailey Cole at KOH this past
Yeah.
year, and he talked about Texas Jesus living in their garage.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally a Texas Jesus sticker on the back of that rig.
Oh, perfect! Yeah, as
It is
it should
absolutely
be.
perfect.
As it should be. Yeah, and Bailey raced that rig, so yeah, it all comes full circle now. That's
Right.
so
Absolutely.
cool.
Yeah, so I got to go
And
to a
here's
bunch
the
of races.
community of four wheeling, right? And KOH. So now, fast forward So apparently you have all the specs on this car and how it's all going to work, and everything lies on your shoulders, according to Will and Jay here.
He's done math.
You're going to build it.
I'm just
Not
a
to put
monkey.
any pressure on you.
I'm just a monkey.
You know, there's all these questions that people have. It's like, okay, electric vehicle, we get it, but it's like, how do you have enough battery power to finish the hammers?
It's really that's
the question,
$1
right?
million question.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question.
Well, every year, the track changes every year. The mileage of the race seems to get longer every year, so you don't really know what the length of the. I imagine you're going to race on.
I mean,
Well, we don't know if
4800
general
day,
idea,
right?
but yeah,
a special course or not.
yeah.
So you're going to be on. You're going to race on. Everyman Challenge Day.
45, 4600 class or something in that.
I think the EV class will run with the EMCs.
Yeah, that's what I'm
yeah.
thinking.
But as of right now, that hasn't been announced.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
But that's what we're going with as a team, and for this build, we're assuming that we're going to run the EMC course.
Okay.
So we're going to. That would mean the roughly 90 mile desert lap.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it would be one rock lap with some bypasses. I'm not exactly sure, but we're still planning. We're going to be ready to run the rocks for sure.
Cool.
When it comes to, I could talk your ear off about battery life and
Go for
exactly.
Well, and I know our listeners want to know. I want to know battery life, because that's like the biggest thing to
course.
me. Is like, you're out in the middle of the desert on this 90-mile lap.
It's not like you're going to throw a fuel tank in there and go.
Right.
The Rebel Rally just happened with a
Yep.
Rivian and two gals in that 50 miles was kind of their range.
Yeah.
And that's not very long.
No.
So,
And that's
Not
on
at all.
pavement.
yeah, and that's on
Well, no, there's a lot of dirt.
That's not
The Rebel
pavement.
Rally is a lot of dirt.
That's,
Oh,
off road, and that's why it was low. But so these cars that are normally running at 60, 80, 100 miles an hour plus in the Ultra4 class,
Right.
Across the desert, there's got to, and these top teams have strategies, right, of how fast they're going to go in certain areas, how much fuel they're going to take. All this stuff is calculated out in the top teams. So obviously, you guys have a bunch of calculations of how fast can we go, how hard can we push this electric motor, how much energy are we going to burn. So
Explain to him how you
Yes.
explained to us the first time you brought this up, and we're like, you're crazy.
yeah, because that's
but-
where I'm at right
but-
now. I'm like, how is this going to work?
But then Kyle explained to me how he did the math, or at least figured out the equation.
If you bring up
figured out the equation about gas and energy.
well, and that's
about
good.
distance versus
He got it
how
written
much
down on
energy
the back
can
of the
Because right
napkin.
now,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
thinking
napkin,
about
it's napkin stuff.
I'm thinking about 1.1 gigawatts right
Right.
now. I'm Back to the Future.
You're not
That's
far
what I'm
off. We
thinking
actually
about.
purchased a
1.21
flux
gigawatts.
Capacitor,
we have one. It's
we-
okay.
we have
You have a flux capacitor?
That's all I
Yeah, a
wanted
few
to
of
know.
them.
You got a flux capacitor podcast done. We're good.
We're capturing
multiple,
light.
multiple flex capacitors.
All right,
good
so
night.
we're out.
Yeah, we're gonna catch. We're gonna.
So, yeah,
we can only race if it's a thunderstorm. Actually, that's it. We're gonna have a huge ass fishing pole hanging off the back of the car.
So you're gonna have a picture of Doc Brown.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're gonna have to establish a clock tower on Fisher Mountain. So basically, this is what it comes down
88
to.
miles an hour.
This is
All right.
there's like
check this
two.
out.
There's basically two questions, right? Like, all right. So if you want to talk about winning the Ultra4 class, that's different than what we're doing here today.
Right.
Okay.
So that's two separate things. But let's just say we are. Let's just say we were going to attempt to build the winning electric Ultra4 car.
There you go.
Basically, what you need to do is figure out how much energy. Okay. Well, how do you do that? I would go off last year's winner because that's the most relevant win, right?
Okay.
Sure.
So last year's winner, Josh Blyler.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I haven't asked in this. I don't know his numbers, but basically, how heavy was your car at the start line? How heavy was it? Okay, yeah, heavy mass. Exactly. Now we know the course. We know the course specifically, exactly how many miles it is, but it's a lot more than just the miles. What's your elevation change?
Right.
How many feet did you actually ascend? Now, descending you can regain energy, but we got to find out how many.
You're regenerating where other cars are not.
That's fair. Yeah, that's true. That's what you're going to be doing. But let's definitely account to raise the weight of that vehicle that many feet in elevation, because that's a real killer. You can go flat for a long time,
Right.
But it's really tough going upstairs, essentially, right?
Sure.
So if you can get the exact elevation change of the course, how many miles it was, and then you also need to account for some sort of slippage in the sand. Anytime your wheels spin extra, that's used juice.
loss.
So if you figure out what his weight was on his car, how many times he pitted, like he did, the cars don't necessarily pit every time. Sometimes they blow right through pit.
Right.
So find out how many times he did. Let's say it was 4. What was his average pit time? Right. Let's say it was 2 minutes. I don't know. Let's just say it was 2-3 minutes. I don't know.
Right.
Then that's how much the time that you have in pit that you could potentially put energy into the car. And then what exactly kind of fuel did he use? Because if you know exactly what kind of fuel it is, you know exactly how many BTUs are in each gallon of gas.
They're all running race fuel, right?
Well, what race fuel? Exactly how much energy is in each gallon.
Sure.
So if you know how many gallons he burnt, the weight of his car, what exactly the fuel was, and you know then that's how much energy it took to get that car across the course the fastest.
Sure.
So you need to have at least that much juice. Not necessarily stored in the car, but you need to be able to put that much into it during your pits. And if you can improve upon any of those numbers, you're looking good.
And he
that's a
figured
start.
this out in like 15 minutes.
I was going to say, I can see this
figured it.
whiteboard of all this stuff. Like, what was that movie
I was just kidding.
where the guy's like, electronic spiders and shit, and then it scratches off. Oh, it's funny as hell.
I don't know. I was thinking
Like,
I just
more.
keep thinking of the meme from
Yeah.
It's Always Sunny in
Yeah,
Philadelphia.
Always
where he's
Sunny.
like,
Oh, yeah, Charlie,
He's
like,
I got this.
I was thinking more A Beautiful Mind with
Yeah.
Russell Crowe, but
another.
Anyways, so, okay.
Well, that's just a question. I don't have the answer.
No, I know.
But that's what we would essentially need to know if we were going to
It
try to
makes
build
sense.
the car.
So very factual elevation changes, how much energy has been used, the weight of the vehicle, all that stuff's being calculated. And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, that's good. All the math and everything works. And then hopefully it gets us across the finish line.
Well, math works every time. But
Oh, yeah.
my introduction to this guy right here, Kyle, was him pulling up in a Nissan Leaf, me looking at him, and I'm like, all right, this guy knows what he's talking about. But he showed up with a Nissan Leaf. Cool, he just has a cool commuter. And he's like, hell no, this is my donor vehicle for my electric vehicle rock crawler. And I'm like, all right, this guy is fucking crazy. And then he started talking to me like that, and I was like, hey, this guy might actually know what the hell he's doing.
Perfect.
I don't. I'm still figuring it out.
Well,
He's also very humble.
I'm still figuring it out. We won't know until how we do in race
Well,
day.
that's
what it comes
it.
down to.
And
And that's why it's called the E.V.E. It's an
right.
electric vehicle experiment. This
Yes.
is definitely
This is
love
the first rendition.
the
This is
first rendition, and
We got version 2 lined up too.
And it's the first year officially
gonna
announced,
have
right?
rockets.
Dave Cole announced it. I mean, I've talked to an Ultra4 racer, and he's like, how come I didn't hear about this?
yeah,
And I was like, hey, man,
and
keep
I've
your eyes
talked
peeled
to
because...
Ultra4 racers too,
Yeah.
big names that I'm not going to mention
Right.
right now that have no clue that this is happening. So why is this not publicized? Why is Wheeling Wine and Whiskey the first one to drop this, Chris?
Well-
because we are the best podcast.
We're the fastest growing
off-road
Official.
podcast. But go ahead.
It was announced at the Oklahoma's drivers meeting.
Okay.
I wasn't there, but that's
Okay.
what I was told. I was told
Okay.
that it was announced at the drivers meeting. He was going over some KOH notes, and then mentioned there's also going to be an EV class. He mentioned that we're going to be the first. We're the first
Okay.
registered
Cool.
entrant. I besides that, I don't know about any public announcement.
yeah, there
I think
hasn't
it
been
to-
anything on the
it should be
gram or
some-
anything like
I
that.
totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I asked him. I shot him a text. I was like, "Hey,
There
man,
will be.
Are there any competitors? Are there any? What's the exact
No.
course or whatever? So hopefully we can get that figured out. I don't know.
It'll be out there. This is all so new. It's
Right.
so fresh.
Well, we're going to be there to watch it and see it happen
Heck
and
yeah.
watch history be made. It's
Yeah.
going to be killer.
so
And have a great time with our friends.
Goddamn
That's
right.
a huge
And that's
part
Such a
of
good
it.
time.
And
Such
that's
a
the
huge part
bottom
of it.
line. I mean, really, regardless of how the results end up, whether E.V.E. crosses the finish line or not, it's the journey getting there,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Because it's going to be trials and tribulations. There's going to be a lot of wins. There's going to be some losses along the way of what you thought might work, didn't work, whatever. And then you figure out something, and then it's, okay, badass, this is going to work. You get to the start line, and taking off that starting line, it is what it is at that point.
Yep.
You've prepared everything that you can do to try and make it from that start line back to the finish line.
So let me get back to the deadline.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
the
here we
deadline-
go.
So the deadline really is middle of January.
Right.
So
Well, yeah.
we don't have till let's go tighten up, do the alignment before we throw it on the trailer, and then we head down the
Right.
King of the
No, you're
Hammers.
going to be doing that when it's on the trailer on the drive down to the hammer.
Exactly.
We're going to be stopping for gas,
So this
tightening
is-
up bolts and stuff.
So our real deadline is mid-January.
Okay.
So we're going to take it to Hollister.
Yes.
I'm going to camp out there. It's on IGTV. Go check us out.
Sweet.
And we're gonna try to break it. Honestly, we're
you
really
need
gonna try
to.
to break
If
it.
we can break
to.
it at Hollister, it's not ready for him.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very well said.
So the rest of the drivetrain, then, so you're going to have a Leaf motor,
Yep.
and batteries,
Yep.
and then you've got a Toyota. Basically, the rest of the drivetrain's Toyota.
That's right. So this car was built with
R151.
Yeah, Marlin
Yeah.
Crawler. It's the turbo trans, so it's the
Okay.
it's the cool trans,
Yeah.
and it goes into dual cases, all Marlin stuff. Marlin
Yeah.
23 spline inputs and outputs
Nice.
throughout it.
Cool.
2.2 in the front, 4.7 in the rear. Very typical crawler setup, but it was built well with really nice parts. This car actually, when it was built new, Dave and Texas Jesus loaded up in Temecula, hit the road on the highway, it was street legal still, drove it to Ensenada, and then raced the Nora 1000 with it.
Oh my God.
Then turned around and went back north up the peninsula, stopping at any beach and taco stand they wanted,
You got to be kidding me.
and
So
drove
this
it back
thing
to Temecula.
It raced the Nora.
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah,
And it raced KOH.
yeah, yeah.
Twice or just...
I think Bailey raced it twice, and I think David Ball raced it
So
twice.
3 times.
And
it
it's
went
raced
through Canada
nationals.
Hammers.
It's raced multiple series
That's
races
awesome.
too. I think it raced Ridgecrest.
I love the
Wow.
previous
Yeah,
history
legacy
on this
vehicle.
car. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then to make it electric, to be the first one to race at King of the Hammers
In an
with the
86
electric
Toyota.
power plant.
This is killer. This is a story.
This
I
is
love
great.
it. I love
You
it.
can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. I love
Trust
it.
me, I'm still pinching myself.
And you heard it first on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. There you go.
I'm still
But-
pinching
Boom.
myself right now.
So, I love this. So, you put the electric power plant in here. Okay, this drivetrain, we got to get into this. So it's IFS right now in the front. Independent front suspension. Is it going to stay IFS?
Oh, yeah.
IFS?
Yeah, we're not-
it is.
It is.
It's upgraded.
Long arm. Okay, so you're going to
Wow.
upgrade it to long arm.
We're not changing the chassis.
Okay.
We don't have time for that.
Okay. Got it.
We don't have time for that. We're fun.
No sassing here.
No, we're doing everything we possibly can to get it electric, and whether it's time or funds, that's not in our bud.
Okay.
it's not in our
There's-
scope.
So, I mean,
There's 1-ton axles under that Jeep out in
I know.
front.
Yeah. Let's electrify the Jeep occasion.
Obviously, it's race proven. It's been in
It's
all
finished.
these different races, so we're just changing the power plant
Exactly.
and figuring
That's
out
it.
this electric thing of how we can get from pit to pit.
Perfect.
Okay.
Right.
The
Yes.
chassis, everything on the chassis has been proven.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
It's a little beat up. It's a little tired.
It
but
is.
We're
I
going
mean-
to do our best to prep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna
then-
throw some grease on it.
Yeah,
It's also-
a little
yeah.
grease,
little paint grease.
Bend out a few
Oil.
things that have been bent.
It also happens to be a great platform because it has a huge open bed in the back.
Yeah.
It's a 4Runner. It's
Yeah.
got a huge bed that will fit
No
the
kidding.
Nissan Leaf battery, which is massive. It's a huge flat pancake.
Right.
That's the entire underbody of the Leaf.
And
So it should
Are
fit.
you worried about center of gravity or anything like that? Or
Well, ideally, we would get the batteries in the bottom, just like any electric car. But we can't really do that right now.
Right,
I mean,
yeah,
this is the
transfer
chassis
case,
that we
right.
got.
Right.
This is the time frame that we got. A thing from the get-go is that we were very focused on safety for this build for a few reasons. You should be anyways. But then also that we know that we are pretty early on this. There's been no other electric car in the off-road,
Right.
really. There has been someone raced in the Baja with an electric. But we want to do everything we can to be as safe as possible. And one of the things is one of our major issues is high voltage. That's
Yeah.
a
Well,
major
yeah.
safety concern. So we want to treat it very well. Most likely, or at least for our scope right now, it would be better for us to leave the battery modules and all that wiring inside of the factory Nissan case. Those guys did a really good job. Those
Right,
engineers,
they
those guys and
engineered it.
gals at
Right.
Nissan did a good job. They spent a lot of money on that battery
Right.
figuring it out.
Yeah.
Let's not mess with that.
Sure.
We'll just find a way to mount that into our chassis.
Okay.
Instead of ideally what you would do is you'd move the batteries all around the chassis for better weight displacement.
Right.
But we don't want to get into that because we're still learning a lot on the high
Sure.
voltage side of things.
Sure.
So that's one reason why we're going to leave it in the pack, and we will sacrifice center of gravity, but that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay if it's in the name of safety and for what
Yeah.
we're doing right now. This is the first rendition.
You'll get a feel for the vehicle when you test run it down at
Well, yeah.
Hollister in
Yeah.
January. So
It's
you'll understand
The
what's
pack's
happening.
640 pounds roughly.
So I told him 650, bro. We're lying to him now.
Yeah. Well, no, 640 race weight. You
Yeah,
know, we'll-
race weight.
Close.
Race
Yeah, we'll scrub the paint off it. So,
That's a lot of
Right?
pain.
So you met Texas Jesus. You need to meet Shock Jesus because you need
Oh,
to dial
Phil?
in that suspension.
yeah, the shocks
Right?
might be going to Phil.
Exactly. So with your KOH experience, suspension is key and getting that dialed in because I've seen a lot of cars go off the line that were badass every respect, but they didn't have their suspension dialed in and it didn't
Auger
work
down.
out. So and you've got that weight of the batteries and everything that's changed up this car. So I don't know. Whatever I know about KOH is suspension.
Suspension
and
wins races.
That helps a ton.
Absolutely.
And then I mean the power plant, and you're going to have the torques. Obviously, you got the horsepower,
And we got the idiot behind the wheel.
and then
Nice.
and then so you're
Necessary.
piloting this thing, which is
Yeah.
awesome with your sister.
it was all love.
That's the plan as of right now. Yeah.
That's super
I
cool.
got her penciled in.
So we talked
Sweet.
about that. Having a female in the co-pilot seat is freaking awesome.
Of course. I mean, she might be driving it. I'm not
Well,
sure.
yeah,
We'll see. If I'm not feeling it that morning, you know.
yeah, that's the option. So
Just send it.
I'm looking forward to this. This story is going to continue.
Hell yeah.
You guys got anything else you want to drop right now before because I'm thinking this is going to be like 3 or 4 more parts leading
Absolutely.
up to the hammers, updating our listeners and people that are interested in this build. So anything else you want to drop right now?
well, come on, give your sister.
Yeah,
credit,
let's
homie.
let's hear.
Oh man, I could talk about her for hours.
Oh,
both
man,
of them.
Here we go. Buckle up,
There you
Buttercup.
go.
well, no, my sister Delia. So I'm the oldest, and she's the middle. She's out on a ship right now. She's a second. She just got her second engineer. So she's
Freaking awesome.
yeah, she's running the motor for a boat that's out in the Pacific. They're doing intercontinental ballistic missile testing stuff.
Navy
Top
or
secret.
Merchant Marine?
She's a merchant marine.
Merchant Marine.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. She's
cool.
not on the missile stuff. She's running the ship. She's running the motor. Yeah,
Man, I tell you,
with
those
her
big
crew.
diesel engines on ships are
Yeah,
badass.
yeah. No,
Absolutely wild.
she's dealt with some. Yeah, she
So
works
this
with that.
KOH thing is going to be nothing to her.
All right.
It's
gonna be
a
like,
little
yeah,
different,
whatever.
but
What's that? I
yeah.
can
It
stand
will
in
be
a
different,
cylinder
but
in my
she's-
boat.
Well, she's been twice now. She comes
Okay.
out, and so does
Cool.
my youngest sister Heather. She actually she was an intern for Ultra4 2 years ago in 18. Yeah, it was 18. She wasn't
Yeah.
here last
Okay.
year. So she was there for the full pulse. She was there for like 30 days
Nice.
as an intern. She loves it. She'll be there again. She's volunteering again this year.
Looking forward to
Right
meeting
on.
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
Runs in
yeah.
the family, man.
Yeah, it's kind of our thing.
love
so,
it.
Yeah, no, they know what's up. So I think that's what right now it's Delia. Delia be the co-driver. That's the plan.
Are you guys securing pit space down in Hammertown?
We've discussed that. I want to. I think we all do.
You
We
need
just
to
need
be.
to. Yeah,
You
we just need
need
to
to
pull a
be.
trigger. Yeah, I think
You need to be
that'll be
somewhere
right.
where- because that's the cool thing, spectator-wise, about any Ultra 4 race is the accessibility to the drivers and cars.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And how
We
cool
wanna show
it's
this
been.
off.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think you guys need to be somewhere down there on Spider Tracks Row or whatever it is.
That'd be cool, yeah.
You know that and by the fucking dragon, Puff the Magic Dragon, right? And they need to
Team
be somewhere
Indiana.
where it's like, okay,
you need a big ass sign. First
is
E.V.E,
for
baby.
by Puff the Magic Dragon. Whatever it is, you guys need to have a significant spot in the pits at Hammertown.
Exactly.
We would definitely work into like our program or whatever. We want to, if anybody's interested and anybody wants to come and check out our pit, we want to tell them about it. We want to let them know what we're doing. We want to let
You got
them
a
know
great
why
story
this is
to tell.
cool.
Yeah.
We would be any kids want to get in the car, turn the wheel, like, hop on in. That would be a huge part of our
Okay, that'll
program.
be Chris.
Yeah.
Well, I'm supposed to take a ride with Arturo.
Yeah,
this
you
year.
got some rides lined up. We need
Yeah.
to make happen. But
Arturo's
anyway,
Soria's
no, you
supposed to
guys
take me
need
to
to
the
be
track.
there right,
Cool.
right off the.
And then wherever we do wind up, our main focus or our main platform right now is Instagram. So
Yes.
we're trying to make some transitions and do some other things, but having us on your show is great, so that people can
super.
hear about
Well,
the story,
appreciate
everything
that.
that we can't
Super happy to have
project
you.
on our Instagram.
Yeah, and we're gonna be there along the way. We're gonna hit you up with our wireless mics and our backpacks right
Yeah.
there. When you were getting in the heat of things and getting out to qualify and race and all that good stuff. So
Looking forward to it.
This
I just
story
paid
is
the
just
water
beginning.
bill real quick. What I miss?
Oh, you missed everything.
You missed everything.
You missed it all,
That's
man.
all.
We
missed
talked
everything.
bad about
Podcast
you.
is over. No. So
We're on episode 2 already.
Nice.
we're almost out of Old Elk though. That's a
No,
problem.
we-
That's
we
the
don't
sign
have
of
enough.
the ending of this podcast.
Lorenzo, bring some more.
Yeah, well, Lorenzo's not here.
Oh,
I didn't bring him. I know. I didn't bring him.
You know he's in the wine cellar right now.
Oh, he is. He is. This is
Just
bad.
saying.
We killed a bottle of Old Elk. He killed a bottle of Old Elk. That's probably what happened
Well,
tonight.
I'm sure he did.
So, any more final thoughts? Because I know this is to be continued with
Absolutely.
3 or 4
Hell
more
yeah.
episodes, and you guys dropped a ton of knowledge on us. Super cool. E.V.E. 2021 KOH. Will, what do you got?
Version 2 is already being rendered.
There you
Can't
go.
wait for that.
There you go.
Version 1 is already in the planning books.
Yes.
KOH will be version 1 proof of concept, and then stay tuned for version 2.
Okay.
It's
Well,
gonna
give
be
us your
wild.
IGs and
Yeah, so let's go around the horn here. So, Kyle, Jay, what else you got to say? And then we'll get where we can get a hold of you guys.
I'm good. All my faith is in my man Kyle here.
Okay.
Oh man,
Dude, you got a lot of weight on your shoulders, man.
He
better
really
be hunched
doesn't.
over.
I'm just
Sorry,
going to
this is
hang
like-
on his
this is-
coattails because I have confidence in his ability to do this. If he needs my
Yeah.
help, I'm here.
Okay.
for him.
right on.
yeah. Well, we're a team. There's a bunch.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
definitely
bunch
a
of
team
Yeah.
effort.
We have
I
a
see that.
solid,
There's no I in
solid team.
team.
We have a really good group of friends.
Yeah, because while you guys are in here bullshitting on a podcast, I hear a lot of wrenches and guns turning out there,
Yeah,
grinders
absolutely.
and stuff. So,
there's a lot of good help, lots of knowledge in the shop.
Yeah.
I feel it's awesome. We have a lot of work to do in the car. It's not completely figured out, but I'm confident we're going to be there for the green flag.
right
Cool.
on.
That's definitely what we're going to.
Well,
think
thanks
we got
for
it.
letting us ride along on this journey.
Oh, of
So-
course, man.
Glad to have
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys.
This is awesome. Yeah, it's freaking cool to document this.
I want to say one more thing.
Okay,
when you're
go
done,
ahead.
when you're done.
When you're done.
Yeah.
Well, all I was going to say is you guys throw out your Instagram pages and stuff. Let's hashtag this thing up
It's WillSpec Garage. I don't want to put my personal stuff.
on
No,
Instagram.
It's WillSpec. but-
WillSpec
Yeah, because we don't
It's
want to
private.
see your other private stuff.
Yeah,
That
you
gets
know,
a
no
little
dick pic.
dicey, man.
the handcuffs and the
Yeah.
unicorn.
Wow,
hooves and
you
all that
went
shit.
there
Yeah.
and
Flashlights and stuff.
Flashlight, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Just
Wow.
wait till you get the scenes in the podcast.
Isn't that who
from them.
the what was that big show,
No,
the big
no,
podcast?
No.
My handles. I want to go fast 77.
I want to go
Nice.
fast
I'm
77
gonna
on
look
IG.
you up.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Check it out.
And then Jay is second gen Jay.
Second gen J. Second gen J.
I already
Yeah.
follow you.
Yeah.
Yep. So
You've been a fan of the podcast from way back when. You're one of our originals.
just about a
One
year
of
and
the
a half.
OGs?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the
Almost
OGs
2 years.
of
He's the OG.
Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, so thank you for that.
Shout
Jay.
out to Beer Andy and First
And
Gen Mike.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, those guys.
Lifetime
absolutely.
friends, and
We've seen you guys at Hollister a few times
Toyota
and,
Crew
and
strong.
following
Heck yeah.
us, and that's
Heck
awesome.
yeah. No,
Love those
good
guys.
times. Good
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, so I want to give a shout out to First Gen Mike. You know what I'm saying? He just had a kid.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
You know, and
Super
Congratulations.
exciting.
I got 2 kids. I get it. You know what I'm saying? He
I got 3.
yeah, so
And that's why Chris is here.
yeah.
I gotta get out of the house somehow.
Yeah, so Mike's still part of the team, but he priorities, right?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, good for him.
You know, priorities.
No, family comes first, always.
Absolutely. And talking about family, let's talk about why we started this. And I'm going to keep on repeating this because I got a 5-year plan.
Okay.
Me personally, my 5-year plan is eventually we're going to create a school. There's no ROP. There's no more tech schools anymore.
Right.
So we're going to pick the top 2 kids of whatever metal shop or autos class, things like that. Like I tell these guys,
Take a moment.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to teach kids. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because we really love working with our hands,
Sure.
working metal, making cool stuff, and that's
Hell
kind of
yeah.
lost today.
It
There's
is.
no shop class
Yeah.
anymore in
It's-
high school because I
I was never in it.
This hits me because
graduated,
my oldest son's is a welder now.
yeah.
Yeah.
He has no
exactly.
certs yet, but he's working on that, and it's pretty cool. So.
I went through mechanical, class. We tore apart VW bugs and stuff. I went through wood class. I went through electronics and stuff, all in middle school before I even got to high school. And that's not even around anymore.
That wasn't available at all.
VW
Graduated. The year after I graduated was the last year that my high school had auto shop.
Yeah.
And the college I went to was the last one in the area to have auto shop.
Right. And all that's gone away. And
It's broken, man. I mean, it's
college is not for everybody.
No.
This
I found that out firsthand.
ramming a college degree
still
down
paying
somebody's
for it.
throat. I did it. I got a piece of paper on my wall in my room because I wake up with that I'm not going to graduate, and I look at my diploma. Okay, great, but the reality is. You don't have to have a 4-year college degree from freaking Harvard to be super successful in America.
And this is my whole life.
And I got to go to Mike Rowe.
Mike
He
Rowe. I was going to
promotes
mention
this stuff,
that.
and God bless him. I wish he was the damn president of the United States. But anyway, that's my own personal
that
opinion.
guy's got more common sense than his pinky.
And then
exactly.
Jesse, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Jessie Combs. Her foundation,
God rest her
everything
soul.
starting, and we lost a great person there. But it was the same thing. Getting people involved that college may not be for you.
No.
And
that's
sitting
okay.
in a stupid classroom and stuff. But let's put a welding rod in your hand and let's weld something.
The reality
or
is
whatever, a machine, equipment, whatever it is. The vocational trades are super necessary
Absolutely.
in our world, and you can make damn good money.
Absolutely. The world, Will, you got emotional.
Yeah, I know. I love the emotion. You're passionate.
That was
and
killer.
That's super cool, man.
And the reality
I love
is
people that are passionate about shit.
these cars that are out on the road today need to be fixed by somebody.
Yeah.
The houses that are built today need to be the plumbing, the electrical, there needs to be trades. And this is where when Jason just mentioned Mike Rowe. I mean, he's a huge advocate of the trades. Yeah. And
Love
in the
that guy.
great words of Judge Smales, the world needs ditch diggers too.
Yeah,
That's
and, right.
It's like not everybody's cut out for college, but you know what? There's a lot of money to be made in the trades, and that's
and
great
if it's
stuff.
done right and you do a good job, you can make fantastic,
Heck yeah.
great
Heck yeah.
living for yourself
Heck yeah.
and family, and
don't
all the toys too.
The people that poo it, to hell with them.
Since
It's
day
sad.
one, I've
Needs to
always
be
been
changed.
told school is for getting a piece of paper,
Right.
Yeah.
And then life is for learning. It's
Right.
not a place for smart people.
Exactly.
And passion is a huge part of it. You got to do what you love, and if you do something that you love, you never work a day in your life. It's kind of cliche, but it's absolutely true.
Altruistic, but I can't knock it.
Yeah, and the dollar figure. I mean, everybody wants to be a freaking millionaire, right? But the true point of happiness is if you can afford to live the life that you want to live, and whatever that may be.
100%.
Race at King of the Hammers,
Kyle,
baby.
living at King of the Hammers for 30, 40 days. Out in the desert.
Animal.
And that was
38
some of the
days.
best years of your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Showering with 2 bottles of water. I got it down to 2 bottles of water. I can take a shower.
I'm jealous right now.
Oh,
He was
boy.
living his best life. So it doesn't
We're
matter what it is.
we're gonna rally up at KOH this
Oh
year.
my God,
man.
I can't
You gotta
wait
come out.
till
Dude,
KOH.
our camp is fun. We have
Oh, boy.
a lot of fun.
You
Well,
think
you gotta
your
get
camp
into
is
the
3,
fun.
baby. Ultra 3.
Wait till you see our camp.
We'll talk about that real quick.
Yeah, you gotta check out the
Easter
LED
egg. That's
TP,
Easter egg
man.
right
Sweet
there. That's
God.
an Easter egg.
All right, well there it is.
We have a lot of fun.
When you guys see the mushroom cloud, listeners, when you see the mushroom cloud at KOH, that's Wheeling
Go
Wine and
to
Whiskey.
it. That's where it's at.
We got a ton of food and a ton of alcohol at our camp, and we have a blast.
Alcohol?
But
Sweet. Alcohol.
yeah, we
Is that legal out there?
We're definitely looking forward to that.
Everything's legal.
Everything is it's
Doing quick math together, we drink over 1 million beers out there. That's pretty cool. If you go over 50,000 people, 20 a week, that's over 1 million beers.
That's a hell of a lot of Ford
quite a
Illuma duties.
statistic right there.
See,
Oh my god!
he's our mathematician.
That's awesome.
We just
I love
do
that.
what he says
The
so.
important man.
Holy
Over 1 million
moly.
beers consumed
That's a lot
at
of Coors
KOH.
Light.
I love that.
That's conservative. Too.
That is
That's conservative.
PBR Dark Horse
All right.
Light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great times, guys.
Oh, this is
Appreciate
awesome.
it.
I
That was
can't
great.
wait to see where this goes. Best of luck, guys, moving forward.
Thank you.
Anything that we can do to help out this process, we're in 110%.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks.
So, guys, this is awesome. Get in there. Get in there. Old Elk powered.
Cool.
Love it. I mean, this is freaking awesome. So I'm so excited.
To be
for the
continued.
for the to be continued, because this will be continued.
Hell yeah.
And we'll have follow-ups and see what trials and tribulations you guys are going through and problems that you're solving and how you're going to get to that start line at KOH 2021.
If you see me dead, that's probably
don't say that.
Kyle said, "You know what? You're off the
Come
team,
on
buddy."
now. Come on.
Nice.
No.
We're going to figure it out. We're going to get it done as a team. It's going to be awesome.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Right on.
And it's going to be a great journey, and we're here to help
We're here to-
document a small part
That's
of
right.
this. So,
Document it.
Thank you.
Love it. So what do you say, Will?
Love it, live it.
Race it.
All right.
Hey,
Sweet.
I just like going fast.
I love it. I love it. This is great. The passion is there, Chris.
Heck yeah, it is. I'm looking so forward to 2021.
Absolutely incredible. I can't wait till we meet up with these guys again and hear their progress.
Hell
on
yeah.
EVE,
EVE
Electrical Vehicle
experiment at KOH 2021.
KOH 2021. Guys, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Super pleasure.
I know you got to get back out there wrenching, and looking forward to the next chat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate
on.
it.
All right,
Hey
guys.
guys, you guys are great. Thank
All
you.
right, cheers.
On that note,
Yay, yay.
we're out.